Welcome to Carlos Castaneda. Today I'm going to be discussing the book The Power of Silence, which is my favourite book in the series. And in it, Don Juan teaches the riddle of awareness, or the premises of sorcery. So here they are in a nutshell. The mastery of awareness is the riddle of the mind. The perplexity sorcerers experience when they recognize the astounding mystery and scope of awareness and perception. Oh, having trouble scrolling with this bugger here. Yeah. The art of stalking is the riddle of the heart. The puzzlement sorcerers feel upon becoming aware of two things. First, that the world appears to us to be unalterably objective and factual because of peculiarities of our awareness and perception. Second, that if different peculiarities of perception come into play, the very things about the world that seem so unalterably objective and factual change. The mastery of intent is the riddle of the spirit, or the paradox of the abstract. Sorcerers' thoughts and actions projected beyond our human condition. Don Juan's instruction on the art of stalking and the mastery of intent depended upon his instruction on the mastery of awareness, which was the cornerstone of his teachings, and which consist of the following basic premises. The mastery of awareness. Number one, the universe is an infinite agglomeration of energy fields resembling threads of light. Two, these energy fields, called the eagle's emanations, radiate from a source of inconceivable proportions, metaphorically called the eagle. Three, human beings are also composed of an incalculable number of the same thread-like energy fields. These eagle's emanations form an encased agglomeration that manifests itself as a ball of light the size of the person's body, with the arms extended laterally, like a giant luminous egg. Four, only a very small group of the energy fields inside this luminous ball are lit up by a point of intense brilliance located on the ball's surface. 5. Perception occurs when the energy fields in that small group immediately surrounding the point of brilliance extend their light to illuminate identical energy fields outside the ball. Since the only energy fields perceivable are those lit by the point of brilliance, that point is named the point where perception is assembled, or simply the assemblage point. 6. The assemblage point can be moved from its usual position on the surface of the luminous ball to another position on the surface, or into the interior. Since the brilliance of the assemblage points can light up whatever energy field it comes in contact with, when it moves to a new position, it immediately brightens up new energy fields, making them perceivable. This perception is known as seeing. 7. When the assemblage point shifts, it makes possible the perception of an entirely different world, as objective and factual as the one we normally perceive. Sorcerers go into that other world to get energy, power, solutions to general and particular problems, or to face the unimaginable. 8. Intent is the pervasive force that causes us to perceive. We do not become aware because we perceive, rather we perceive as a result of the pressure and intrusion of intent. 9. The aim of sorcerers is to reach a state of total awareness in order to experience all the possibilities of perception available to man. This state of awareness even implies an alternative way of dying. Okay, so these are the basic premises of sorcery. More particularly or more peculiarly, they are the premises of the mastery of awareness, which is the riddle of the mind. So just to comment on these basic premises, the first one being that the universe is an infinite agglomeration of energy fields resembling threads of light. So the universe is composed of infinite filaments of luminosity. They go on forever in space and time. They are connected to everything that can be witnessed. So this luminosity also applies to us, human beings or apparent human beings, sentient beings, or whatever you want to call us. We are also made up of threads of light. Sorcerers call these energy fields the eagle's emanations. It's a metaphorical term to describe the source of awareness, because to these seers it resembles a giant jet black eagle extending all the way to infinity. But Don Juan said in the Fire from Within, the book before the Power of Silence, that it's not really an eagle, it just resembles one. These seers, rather the old seers, which came before the lineage of new seers, and they were around for about 5,000 years, saw the source of awareness as a jet black eagle, which was infinite. Okay, so they called it that. So we're also composed of an infinite number, or an incalculable number rather, of the same energy fields. These eagle's emanations form this encased agglomeration, which manifests itself in the universe as a giant luminous egg, ball of light. And the first time, on this ball of light, on the surface of it, is a point of brilliance where perception is assembled. And sorcerers call it the assemblage point. And that point can move. And the perception actually occurs when the energy fields in that small group in and around the assemblage point align with energy fields outside the luminous egg. So the threads of light inside the egg align with threads of light outside the egg, and that's what causes the act of perception. Okay? So that's called the assemblage point, the point where perception is assembled, and that point can change. Okay. Now, when the assemblage point is in its customary position, when it's in its normal, everyday position, which is the point where almost all of humanity is located in their everyday survival mode of perception, their tonal, their ego, the survival mode, the everyday mode of perception. The point is located in its usual position and it doesn't move from there. The only time where it moves significantly from that position in ordinary life is in dreaming, or rather when one dreams as one sleeps. So the assemblage point moves when you go to sleep and you dream. It can move in other ways as well, which we'll get into later. So when the assemblage point moves to a new position and makes other energy fields perceivable, other phenomena perceivable, this is called seeing. This is an act only sorcerers can perform. Now, normally, all of our human knowledge, all of our common understanding, even in fields of science, philosophy, the social sciences, system theory, sociology and all that, postmodernism, all of this knowledge, our collective body of tonal knowledge, of human knowledge, comes from or is sourced in the usual position of the assemblage point. All of that knowledge comes from that position, that presupposition. Now, scientists, philosophers will claim that their knowledge is absolute, like the rationalists do. They'll say because it's rational, because it can be rationally and logically explained, because scientific evidence supports it, it's therefore true. But it's only true from the customary position of the assemblage point. Now, when that point moves, all our ideas change, our interpretations change, because our perceptions change. But scientists and philosophers don't know about what sorcerers do. They don't know about the assemblage point and will, in fact, deny its very existence. Well, such is their tragedy, their loss. Because there is infinitely more to the universe than what rationalists can know and understand. Be rest assured that what they understand is a very small proportion of what actually is. Even though the tonal is infinite, they're not aware of that. Really. Let's get on to that. So sorcerers, when the assemblage point shifts, it makes possible the perception of an entirely new world as objective and factual as the one we normally perceive. So sorcerers go into that world to get energy and power, solutions to general particular problems. This is number 7, or to face the unimaginable. So sorcerers actually go into other worlds as real as this one, as objective as this one, and factual as this one. Now the facts change because the world that you are exploring, that you're perceiving, that you're engaged with and involved with and absorbed in, changes. So the facts change. Right? The objective world no longer looks the same. So one could question then, therefore, whether it was objective at all. The sorcery, my understanding, is about subjectivity. Experiencing the world as the subject eye. Now, it can be objective as well, but primarily here we're concerned about the subjective experience, the universe. And the aim of sorcerers is to reach a state of total awareness of the totality of oneself in order to experience all of the possibilities of perception. available to man. And this state of awareness implies an alternative way of dying. So what does all this mean? Now, it's impossible to describe in words exactly what sorcerers experience when they go into the unknown, when they shift the assemblage point. It's impossible to describe in ordinary language, because there is an indescribable force in the universe which sorcerers are aware of and can in fact use, which is called intent. And intent, the pressure of intent is what creates these other realities or other perceptions. But intent is not something that we're aware of in the ordinary world, the ordinary objective, so-called factual, rational, logical, everyday state of awareness. Now, I'm not denigrating the rational, everyday state of awareness. It's necessary to survive. It's necessary to build things. It's necessary to think about things in a logical and analytical way. But when you hijack consciousness in that way, you are absolutizing a perception and saying you're finalizing it. You're saying this is the unalterable and objective and factual truth, and this is final and it cannot be argued with. Well, that's very dangerous when you get into that type of thinking, like the scientists who become very vehement that their view of the world is absolute and cannot be argued with. Well, have I got news for you? So, when a sorcerer learns to see, he moves the assemblage point into new positions, endless positions, because any point on that surface of your cocoon can connect with any point in infinity, and it can light up those fields of energy, making them perceivable. There's a whole universe of awareness. Infinity is infinite energy. We have access to infinite knowledge directly through directly perceiving intent through the assemblage point. The knowledge and the secrets of the assemblage point is in fact the premises of sorcery. These are the fundamentals of sorcery. The luminous egg, the eagle's emanations, the assemblage point. So you want to be thinking about these core ideas in facts. Don't just think of them as ideas or as metaphors. Actually bring them into your life. If you're interested in sorcery, if you're interested in the infinite possibilities of perception and awareness, if you're curious about the mysteries of the universe, if you're seriously concerned about building energy and saving energy, then I welcome you to the Sorcerer's Revolution.